There is something very calming about waking up with the sound of rain and thunderstorm. It's like the nature is giving us a sign that we should slow down, pause, stay inside our cozy home, and give our body a rest. And as the early signs of autumn are getting more and more visible, the temperatures are going down and the wind is getting stronger, I'm spending more time inside and look forward to going out between the rain showers and when the sun manages to escape from the clouds as for little as a few minutes. You wouldn't believe, but yesterday morning it was only 10 degrees here in Germany. I had to go out to do some groceries, so I dig out from my closet a scarf and a winter hat. As soon as it gets windy, I cannot go out without a hat. I also read 2 new books, since somehow the autumn season is for me very inspiring when it comes to reading. I prefer the most to read in the evening, so I make myself a warm big cup of tea and dive into the world of books. These days, I'm drinking pure Camille tea. I know Camille tea is not the most exciting tea in the world, but I really like the aroma that also reminds me a bit of summer flower fields. So, the first book that I read was Master Georgie by Barry Bainbridge. It is an interesting historical novel about the British people and their experience of the Crimean War in the 18th century during Victorian British period. The book starts very intriguing when a young orphan girl named Myrtle poses for a photo beside the corpse of her adoptive father. Each chapter of the book revolves around a different photo, which allows us to see and understand the main events simultaneously from the perspective of 4 different characters. The story revolves around Myrtle's idolization of her adored adoptive brother Georgie, an attractive bisexual English surgeon and amateur photographer. In her eyes, he can do no wrong, but in the following chapters told by other characters, we learn some new things about dear Master Georgie. The book is very enjoyable and I recommend it for you to read it, especially during cold autumn nights. The second book that I read was the debut novel by Sarah Penner, The Lost Apothecary. The book was okay to read, but I enjoyed it a bit less than Master Georgie. It has some historical facts from the Georgian period of Britain. It contains a mystery, a murder, a broken trust and a betrayal, and the stories happening in dual parallel timelines. First one, during a cold February month of 1791, in the hidden apothecary shop at the back of dark London, where an older female apothecary secretly dispenses poisons to liberate women from the men who have been bad to them. There are 2 rules to be followed in her apothecary. Rule number 1, the poison must never be used to harm another woman. And rule number 2, the names of the murderer and her victim must be recorded in the apothecary's register. In present-day London, a young historian, Caroline, devastated from her husband's betrayal, finds its old apothecary vial in the River Thames. She starts investigating where does the little bottle come from, and through her research, she not only discovers more about the poison shop, but also falls deeper in her own self-discovery journey and personal growth. The book started very good, but unfortunately began to feel very slow at some moments. Some parts of the story felt a bit unnecessary to me and didn't fit too much. But it's an easy read for slow September evenings. And now, back to my art studio. I was painting here a September school theme illustration with Holbein acrylic gouache color set. Last time I painted with gouache was probably more than 20 years ago, since I always used oil colors or acrylic, and this was the first time ever I used acrylic gouache, so I still have to learn how to use the paint properly. But it was a lot of fun doing this cute illustration, and I can't wait to draw some more and share them with you. It didn't turn out exactly as I was hoping, as the choice of the paper was very bad for this kind of drawings. The only watercolor paper that I had at the moment was a paper with a rough surface, which is not so good for delicate small lines and details. But anyway, it was fun to play with colors, as they were very intense and opaque. And now, I will share with you my last museum visit that happened in August, when the weather was still shiny, summery and warm. So, my idea was to visit the Contemporary Art Museum Brandhorst in Munich to see the exhibition of Andy Warhol. But unfortunately, I didn't inform myself good enough, so the Warhol exhibition was already over in April. But since I traveled for 2 hours with a train from Nuremberg to Munich just to visit the Brandhorst Museum, I still checked out the exhibition inside. The current exhibition is called Future Bodies from a Recent Past, Sculpture, Technology and Body since the 1950s. And when I saw that the one and only Yayoi Kusama also takes part in the exhibition, I was actually pretty excited to see it. And it turned out to be really interesting. Some of the artists who took part at the exhibition are Serbian artist from Novi Sad, Aleksandra Domanovic, Polish artist Paweł Althammer, which work you see right now, African-American artist Senga Ngundi, Nancy Grossman, Nicola L., who just recently died in 2018, and a few others. The exhibition focuses on the relationship between humans and technology and how it shifted since the 1950s. Can the boundaries still be clearly drawn? Where do our digital extensions, such as computers or cell phones, begin and end? A topic that touches us more and more every day. Throughout the exhibition, the sculpture obviously takes the biggest part, particularly because sculpture suits very well when it comes to reflecting to these changes between humans and technology, not only because, and I quote, sculptures are physical objects in space and therefore provide the possibility for projecting our own corporeality, but also because they share their materials and production methods with the world that surrounds us. This was the work from Yayoi Kusama called Sex Obsession. And this one is from Serbian artist Aleksandra Domanovic. And now, up to the second floor of the museum. So the entire upper floor of the museum is dedicated to the most extensive collection of works by the American artist Cy Twombly. I read a lot of articles about his art and life, and it was a pleasure to spend time here and look at his work. I couldn't feel the energy of his drawings, but his big-scale graffiti-like paintings I found very intriguing and powerful. I also read that one of his works from 1970s was sold at Christie's Contemporary Art Sale in 2014 for the amount of $69.6 million. There is also one his quote that I found very interesting, and it goes like this: "For me, the past is the source, because all art is essentially contemporary." After Cy Twombly, the exhibition Future Bodies from Recent Past, Sculpture Technology and the Body since 1950s continued to downfall. And as I said, I was actually very happy that I saw this exhibition, since it turned out to be very informative and engaging. And when it comes to Andy Warhol, we will visit him some other time, at some other museum. My friends, hope you enjoyed the painting session, as well as the tour of Museum of Brandhorst. I had really nice time while trying out acrylic gouache illustration, as well as exploring the museum. Thank you for being here. Take care. Bye bye.